The story comes from The Hill. Clarence Thomas' opinion sparks House vote Thursday to protect access to contraception.
This is what he was talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is an intensely necessary thing to do. I saw a handful of videos of Republicans fighting against this, right? Women Republicans, shockingly enough, fighting against this need to protect women's access to contraception. You know, contraception is important to everybody, right? But the skin in the game is not the same.
No, not at all.
My desire to use contraception has a financial element. In other words, if I impregnate somebody, I have a financial obligation.
Not all the time, but sometimes.
Right. Yeah. It can be, if it can be proven that I'm the father, I can. Then there is likely to be a financial obligation, and then it also has a health and safety protection for myself.
Sure.
Right. So, but the skin in the game is not the same. It's just not anywhere near the same. And Clarence Thomas openly said that the right to contraception, the decision that granted couples or anybody the right to use contraception, is open for review. It's fucking open season on it, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And he opened this door when he talked about it. In fact, they're looking to overturn the way he talked about it. He would love to overturn this was technically one of the decisions that happened. The contraception decision happened before Roe.
Yeah.
And it's one of the pillars that Roe stood on. And so removing Roe, you made it feel like this particular thing, especially like it was hinged on this, and now this one's vulnerable as well. This decision
100%
is vulnerable as well. And he said as much, that we should go after this, and he wants to go after Obergefell too.
Yeah.
He wants to go after gay marriage. You know, they tried to passed the bill, and there was another one too, or maybe it was part of this one that happened to be, it was marriage equality, because the marriage equality bill specifically talked about, you know, all marriage equality, not just, you know, same-sex marriage, but also marriage equality between races too.
Yeah, well, because there are three decisions, and I'm going to forget one of them. One of them was Lawrence, one of them was Obergefell, and one of them was the other one I can't remember off the top of my head. But, you know, they all rest on the 14th Amendment. They all rest on the same principle of that, hey, the 14th Amendment gives people liberties that the federal government cannot step in and strip you of or become involved in. Yeah. And by saying that, like, hey, Roe doesn't fall there, then Lawrence and Obergefell and the other one I can't remember, they all fall like dominoes. And, you know, it's funny because Kavanaugh in Dobbs took some pains to point out that this was, I promise this is just for Roe. And then fairly immediately, Thomas was like, nah. And so the rest of us
Not
are
really,
like,
though.
Okay, well, like, I don't know. Like, I'd like to buy condoms. Well, am I going to be able to buy a fucking condom?
Who knows how far, you know, I don't know how far right every one of these guys is, right? Or gals. I don't know how far right. You have 6 justices. You know, Alito pens this thing that is pretty much, you know, like pretty fucking hardcore right. And all these other guys.
Absolutely.
All these other guys, you know, Trump wouldn't have picked him if they weren't fucking hardcore.
Right, bro.
Trump wouldn't have picked him if they weren't hardcore. So, you know, you got 3 Trump appointees on that court. And then you have Clarence Thomas, who is as far fucking right as you can get.
Yep.
He hates the left. Hates the left.
He's a crazy person.
He's a nutcase.
He's an absolute crazy person, psychopath.
Person.
Yes.
Yeah. And so he's an absolute. So Roberts was the only somewhat once in a great while, if the wind blew that way, moderate.
Right.
And so the rest of them are all, I mean, there's 5 of them on that court right now. They don't need anybody.
Yeah, man.
They don't need it. If something like this rolls up to them, they don't need anybody else.
Yep.
So gay marriage, I look at that side and I don't think it's got it. I don't think that will stand at all.
Yeah.
Contraception, maybe. Maybe. Interracial marriage, maybe. Maybe.
You know, I think interracial marriage will pass because Clarence Thomas is a fucking hypocrite.
Yeah, you're probably right.
And he's in an interracial marriage.
Yeah, you're probably right.
That's the thing. These guys, like, all of these fuckers are hypocrites.
Yeah, you're right. And they don't care. And
all of those anti-abortion people, they're all fucking hypocrites.
You're right.
They're all hypocrites.
Yeah.
None of you are fucking, because, like, when the chips are fucking down, you want the option.
Yeah.
If your life is, if you are going to die or have that baby, if you were fucking raped, if it's your kid, you tell me you don't believe it. Fuck your principles. All of you are liars.
It's because I'm about to gonna do it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
they're all 100% like, oh yeah, if my life was in danger, I would save the baby. But then the moment the doctor walks in and be like, your life's in danger, be like, fucking get it out.
Yup.
They're like, suddenly they're like fucking Sigourney Weaver and fucking aliens. They're like, fucking get it out.
Yup.
Because the moment it becomes real, you could talk about shit all you want.
Yeah.
I talked about it. But guess what? When it becomes real, shit changes.
Yep.
Your mind changes.
Yep.
Like, oh, fuck. You know, you could sit there all day and talk about how tough you are, how strong you're going to be in the face of that.
Yeah.
But man, it comes down to like you staring down the fucking candle of your life.
Yeah, man. A lot of pussy ass tough guys.
Tell you what,
right?
man. And
a lot of pussy ass tough
there's
guys.
a lot of liars out there.
There-
a lot of liars
Yep.
out there who will say that, oh, yeah, I would never do that, you know, like marching and, you know, wanting to take women's choice away because they're not in that situation.
Yep.
But the moment they are, they fly to another fucking state.
I know I said this before, but like my perfect example of somebody that I literally know said this to me out loud. There's a guy that I fucking work with that like when he and his wife were young and they were of procreating age, they were pro-choice. And now that they are past the age where that is a danger, all of a sudden they're pro-life.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I called him, I was like, dude, that's just because like it doesn't affect you personally anymore. He's like, yeah, probably. And I was like, what? How?
Yeah.
How do we out loud say these things?
Fucking A.
There's no principle behind it. What you really mean is I always want to strip rights from other people. What I've always wanted was to take from you and to maintain for me.
That's all I care about.
That's all I care about. I want the marriage I want. I want to be able to start a family or not start a family when I want. I want me. But when it comes to you, if there's an opportunity for you to be less, specifically, if you can be demographically less than me, then I want that too.
Yeah.
Because that gives me more.
Anything that gets you more. And that's been the Republican MO.
Yes.
Forever.
That's what conservatism really means.
What can get me more?
Yes.
How can I get more? How can I take stuff from you? Whether that's rights or money or whatever, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to do what I can. And that's exactly true because that happens to so many people. That happens to someone once they get out of the danger zone, they're like, my principles, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, I don't buy it for a second. All these fuckers ask their fucking mistresses to go get a goddamn abortion, man.
Fucking A, they do.
What I want to see is all these mistresses that had to get abortions for all these fucking powerful right-wing motherfuckers.
So do I.
Come out.
So do I.
Fucking hashtag that shit.
Please.